Hello everyone, it's me, Rory Paddock, 4 picks from the paddock.co.uk. It is currently 10:15pm on Friday evening. Myself and Chris Connolly are here he is, to discuss tomorrow's selections. Saturday we've got the Cesarewitch, the big race of the day. We've got action from Newmarket, York, some more weather action, all sorts of bits and bobs. So without further ado, it's time for today's tips. Hello everyone, ladies and gents, watching either on Twitter, Facebook or YouTube here at picksfromthepaddock.co.uk. I've got obviously my right hand man, or to you guys on the left hand side of the screen, Chris Connolly. How are you doing, bud?
Well, it could have gone better for earlier, put it that way.
Oh yeah, remind me now. So you gave 3 horses and they all did.
You needed binoculars, let's put it that way.
I mean, and I gave 3 horses and they all placed, even one at 25-1. So I'm inviting you on again to make me look good. Obviously, big race of the day tomorrow, Cesarewitch. Before we get onto that, a little bit of a talking point today. I'm not going to go into much detail with it, but for those that know or don't know, obviously Ballydoyle have had the whole feed fiasco that took all their horses out of the Arc. And today they decided to get the horses mixed up in a Group 1 race. For those that don't know, Chris, in a short abridged version, what's happened?
Well, basically, obviously Snowfall and Mother Earth must look fairly similar. And unfortunately, it was just a cock ball around where they called the third as being Snowfall, when in fact it was Mother Earth. So there'll be a disqualification for both, I would imagine, and a fine for Aidan O'Brien. It's not the first time there's been a mistaken identity sort of thing happen. So I would imagine a fine will be on its way. He's obviously issued a grovelling apology as Aidan O'Brien, but it wasn't there. I mean, you've got to remember he's back in Ireland. They have a base here, obviously due to COVID and the travel restrictions, but it's just a little bit embarrassing. You don't really want to see that in a group race of any description.
I mean, for an operation like that as well. I mean, it's just a case of have they just numbered them up wrong? Is that all it is? They're just throwing the different wrong numbers on, wrong
the wrong jockeys on, the wrong numbers on. It's not a great look, is it? But obviously the horses must look very similar.
Yeah. So, Aidan and co, Ballydoyle, just, get your act together. Come on. We know you're a Tim Pot organisation, yeah? Anyway, obviously, bit of a nightmare day for you. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was with you on the horse that you were after today, Copper Knight. And, so, I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself now, Christopher. So tomorrow, big race of the day, we've got the Cesarewitch. Now, I'll give the horse that I like, and then I'll let you tell me why I'm wrong and why the horse you're picking's 10 times better. I like it at a price. I actually don't know what the price is. I know it's a big double figure price. Smart Champion, David Simcock's horse. He's not won since February this year, but put into really good performances in big runner handicaps at Ascot and Goodwood. In the Ascot Stakes at Royal Ascot and the Goodwood handicap at Glorious Goodwood. Placed in both of those. Both of those races are over 2 mile 4, and one is over 2 mile 4 and a half a furlong. So I'm hoping with the ground that's going to be testing, the fact that he acts over 2 mile 4, he should be staying on when others are absolutely paddling in the mud. A big price. David Simcock's yard, I think they've had 1 winner in the last 2 weeks out of like 20 odd runners, so not exactly in great form. But to be honest with you, this year's Cesarewitch, there's not anything that jumps out at me drastically. Hence why I'm going for one at a big price. Especially if you've got bookmakers paying first 7 and stuff like that. So for me, Smart Champion, bit of interest outside a big price. Yours?
I don't have a strong opinion on this race, which is quite rare for me in a brutal handicap. I usually spend hours looking at these. I haven't even bothered this time round because it looks impossible, doesn't it? You have obviously the Willie Mullins horse, which has been heavily backed. He's got a good recent record in the race, goes without saying, and you'd respect anything he has anyway. I thought at the prices, Indianapolis is around 33s. I think Frankie takes a ride. He's been running on well without ever really threatening in his last few races, and I think on desperate ground he would be really interesting if they went stupidly fast up front. I could see him running into a place. Of the fancied horses, Mondain of Mark Johnston's, now he's coming to his own at staying trips. He should relish the trip. I wouldn't imagine the ground would be an issue for him, but I mean, he's 14.20, it's a fair enough price. If you put the gun to my head, there'd be my place, but it is a brutal race, and trying to put anyone off at anything really is impossible. It's a thankless task.
It is. I mean, it's the ground. You know, obviously it is what it is, but it's a bit of a nightmare, really. So it's Mondain. Oh, sorry, buddy. Mondain and what's the other one? Indianapolis. Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's one of those. It's just, it looks a decent race on paper, but I think what with, you know, testing ground, COVID obviously making the season a bit of an odd season anyway. You obviously have a load of national hunt trainers in here, which you haven't seen anything of for months. I think it's going to be difficult to be confident with anything, let alone the fact of how many runners are in there, you know. But yeah, for me, Smart Champion, obviously you've got your two in there. Away from that race, I know there's a few that you like at York. Time order, buddy, what's the first... I know, yeah, famous last words after today. What's the first one, time order-wise, that you like there?
I like the 2:35 race, just as a race. Matthew Flinders was a horse I ranted about last time. I was absolutely convinced he'd piss up, and he did. I think reassessed, it's hard to dismiss him, but once I've been paid off by a horse, I like to leave them be. And anything today really catches my eye. He's on a good mark. He hasn't shown all that much for Roger Fell. He hasn't won for Roger Fell, I don't believe. It's a little bit concerning that David O'Mara allowed him to leave, but he's on a good mark now. He ran a good race last time in the Cambridgeshire. He likes the course. I mean, Roger Fell had a winner today. There were a lot of positives for him, I think.
Yeah, his yard is starting to hit a bit of form. There's another one of his at York that I like the look of as well. Go on, sorry, bud.
No, I just think he looks a sensible each way option. You can get 4 places, I believe, and at 17-2, that's testing it. I mean, it is a nice race based around Matthew Flinders and Ilara, who's the favourite, I believe. But I'd be willing to take a chance for anything today. I just think them 4 places appeal to me. Definitely goes around. We already know that. Good mark. Trainer's in form. He's got a good chance. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's a bit of a watching brief for me in terms of that race, but you could make a case for a whole host of them, really, couldn't you? But I agree with you. I mean, whilst we've touched upon Roger Fell, might as well tell you, I like one of his at York as well tomorrow, but it's not until the 4:55. Horse by the name of Sucelis or Sucelis, however you want to pronounce it, Sucelis. Whatever, I'm sure I'll get it right if we have a few more of these. Putting a really solid performance to finish third, 2 stars back at York. This looks a pretty tough race, but like I said, Roger Fell, as his yard, absolutely flying at the moment, going really well of late. Got Danny Tudhope in the saddle. I don't think there's much of a better jockey around York, as far as I'm concerned. Definitely one of the best jockeys at this venue. He rides the horse. Again, he was really disappointing last time, but on his only start at York, he managed to grab a place. Similar sort of handicap mark. He's not gone up, down, left, right too much. I'll take a slice of the 9-1 that's on offer for Sucelis in the 4:55. Again, hopefully another Roger Fell winner, as he's had quite a few recently. One of the big handicaps at York today, Saturday even, tomorrow, is the Coral Sprint Trophy. I know you like one in this, and I like one in this. I've actually napped it in the Racing Post for tomorrow. I'll be a gent and let ladies go first.
That's really kind of you. Yeah, I mean, this is a hot race, no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
And plenty of these that have already had their day in the sun this season. And this is why I've gone a little bit left field, and I've gone with Recon Mission, who I think's on a really good mark now. The yard could be in better form, and I'm not totally convinced with being stall one, but there have been winners from stall one before, and £5 claimer on board. I just think everything points to a big run from Recon Mission, as long as the draw's not too bad. And well, if it goes like today, I've got absolutely no chance, but I'm hoping he can get a place. I think there's 5 or 6 places on offer in this race. 7 places actually with William Hill. It's 14-1. That's too big. And
he'll like the ground as well. He'll like the ground. He'll be a big fan of the ground.
There's a lot of positives. Like I said, I'm a little bit concerned that he's drawn 1, even though there's been a winner from the one box before. I quite like Gulliver. People know I already backed Hay Jones here. It's a wide open race. I just think 14-1, 7 places. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I couldn't put anyone off yours either. 100% strike rate at the course. 1 at York from that. Yeah, well, course and distance, sorry. At the course and distance, yeah. That was off a mark of 97. Off a mark of 92. Will relish the ground, has won on heavy before. Yeah, I'm the same. Even though I've not napped it, if the horse that I have gone for in this wasn't in it, I'd be all over that as well. I'd completely see the logic. The one for me, however, is a horse you've already mentioned, is Gulliver. We saw David O'Mara with Musica grab the big sprint handicap today. Horses are going to start firing. You've got to respect anything that David O'Mara sends out around here. Gulliver, 6-year-old course and distance winner, has a decent record at York as well. Martin Harley's booked for the ride, who's actually on a 20% strike rate in terms of his rides at the moment. It ticks a load of boxes. I mean, looking through the horse's form, again, he won this race actually last year on soft ground. He returns only £2 higher than that. Again, he's got a couple of course and distance wins. Yeah, things point to a really, really decent run from that. It looks to be the race that is obviously been mapped out for with Gulliver. Hard to ignore him. Despite the fact he's been really poor this season, I think he's been put away for a race like this sort of thing. Again, like I said, I couldn't put anyone off yours either if I was to have the both of them. So hopefully we'll end up with the forecast. Gulliver and Recon Mission in the 310 Coral Sprint Trophy at York. Your next one at York, mate?
Yeah, it goes in the 420, and this is a bit of a smelly one. Now, I backed Sassy when the horse won this last season. Unfortunately, this time around, there's only 2 places on offer, so even at 16-1, it's a bit risky. I'd have preferred there to be terms of 3, each way, but Mickey Easterby often lands races like this with horses that appear to be out of form. The horse is on a good mark, no problem with the ground. The obvious one to beat in the race, the Jam Man. I suspect that horse will be well backed, but the rest of them are questionable types. Stanificus, he's done for me this year. He had me right under the bus, that horse. I was totally convinced he'd win at Doncaster. I couldn't believe he'd had any chance of winning over 2 mile. He did it twice. I think Sassy could pick the pieces up behind the Jam Man, and if we get lucky, we could land the spoils. Yeah,
it's a shame there's no the 8th runner in there for a horse like that. Bit of a nightmare. It's a bit of a sickening when you see that, only the first 2 being played. Just to let you know as well, in the previous race, just for those I forgot to mention, in the 310 sprint handicap, there is a bookmaker I cannot name, but rhymes with Hill Tills, who are paying 7 places. So if you're looking for a bit of value, then unfortunately they're only paying a fifth of the odds, but 7 places is pretty generous, But yeah, Sassy, course and distance winner again. I certainly wouldn't. To be honest with you, it's not a horse I would necessarily back in a race like this, but that's based purely on the fact that there's only 7 horses. Equally low, For all that you can lay a horse, I'd be happy to. Obviously, you'd back a horse to win, but if there was a way of betting who was going to come last, I'd never back this horse to come last. He's gonna beat a few. He's gonna finish ahead of a few of these surely, and I'd be relatively confident of that.
She will love the ground compared to a few of these. She's proven on the ground. Obviously, she's a pound lower this time around compared to last season.
Yeah.
And Paul Hannigan takes a ride. I mean, it's not out of the question. Obviously, beating the
German. Mickey Easterby loves one round here as well. Mickey Easterby loves one round here as well.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the angle. To be fair, obviously, proven at the course distance, proven on the ground, decent mark. Like I say, fingers crossed. I would have much preferred there to be 8 or more runners, obviously, and unfortunately, no bookmakers paying the first 3. So
no. I mean, to be honest with you, gun to the head, I'd probably go Hockfield myself, but it's not a bet race for me. But fingers crossed for Sassy. Let me have a look. My last one is on the all weather at Chelmsford. So I'll save that to last and try and go in time order. I know that you like one over the sticks is it Chepstow tomorrow?
It is indeed.
Chepstow. I mean, it's a cracking little race. Well, little race. That 4:32. First of all, these 4:32s and 3:57s. It makes me feel sick just saying them. It's weird. I don't like it, but whatever. Gotta be a man of the times, but. No.
It don't matter. This is supposed to be to avoid clashes, which there's not a hope in hell on that working on a Saturday or a Sunday or a big bank holiday or anything like that. It's never going to work. So it's like watching the dogs, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is though, you're looking at the racing at that time, right? You've got a 4:15 race at Newmarket, a 4:20 at York, right? So that's a 5-minute difference. A 4:25 at Fairyhouse. So why couldn't you? And then there is no 4:30 race. Why don't you have a 4:30 at Chepstow? And then there's a 4:40 at Limerick.
Daft, isn't it? It is daft.
It's weird. But anyway, I mean, it's a nice looking. Considering that's not on TV, that's a nice looking jumps race. It's the John Ayres Memorial Handicap Class 2 race. It's Chepstow's opening meeting of the season, isn't it? First jumps meeting.
Yeah, they raced yesterday, didn't they, at Chepstow?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The likes of President Man rolled back the well, it was a very good performance from him, actually. It was a great race in the veterans race. But his horses have started quite well of Paul Nichols, and you'd be respectful of anything of his today on this card. But it is a very hot card, actually. There's loads of depth to this. This particular race, this is just a horse that ticks all my boxes, and the fact that I backed it last year when she won the race. So Paul coming back for seconds, well handicapped, the Bay Birch for me. I think she should be favourite for this. I think she's 92 second favourite at the minute. Like I said.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I was just looking through the form of the Bay Birch. I knew you were going to mention it. I've just realised I was here last year. I was there at Chepstow last year. I saw it win. I was looking going, I'm sure Maracuja win. So it go well here last time. Whatever it looked. I remember back in Maracuja in Activio came third. But yeah, the Bay Birch did it well last year as well. Yeah, sorry, just onset of Alzheimer's, don't mind me.
She's had a recent spin, came third. She'll be ready for today. Stan Shepherd, I think he's had one horse in the last fortnight, or he's sent one out when it won. You have to think that this has been the plan all along for the Bay Birch. She's obviously well handicapped, £8 well in compared to last year. Lots in her favour. This would probably be her big race of the campaign, and as soon as I saw her, she was a play for me. I mean, she's guaranteed to come second or something daft now. I've said it, but I can't get past her. It is a hot race. There's loads of depth to it, but...
Well, yeah, you're right. It's the spirit of the games, haven't you, who did well in the Brown Advisory when it was last seen at Cheltenham Festival. But yeah, I think the fact that Bay Birch has had a run, had a spin already, compared to the majority of those, is going to be really telling as well. Especially, I mean, to be honest with you, for all that it's absolutely torrential up here in the north, like where you are and where I am, and obviously at York, it's by all accounts, it's good ground down there at Chepstow. But yeah, the Bay Birch won it last year. I was there. I forgot, but yeah. So, yeah, no, it's like I said before, like I said with Gulliver in the sprint race, it seems to be a sort of race that it's been laid out for. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You sort of get that feeling, don't you? I mean,
yeah.
It's interesting that you went with Gulliver because I backed the horse last time and that was enough for me. I think it was the second time I backed him this season. You just see...
Third time's a charm. Come on, no. Go on, let him burn more in your wallet. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
I blew an hole in my wallet today, thanks.
It wasn't a bloody hole, that, I tell you. That was a crater. Yeah, last but not least, I like one on the all-weather as well. Saturday evening, Chelmsford card. Wouldn't be me if I didn't give one all-weather horse. And Kel Surprise is a course and distance winner. It's a horse, again, I've gone for horses that are difficult to bloody spell. That seems to be the sort of like the moniker of my Saturday selections. Zaffarana, been really poor this season, but last win came over course and distance, off a mark of 74. Hasn't been at that mark or lower since that success until now. It returns back off 71, so it's £3 lower. Also, it's the first time she's dropped back down to Class 5 company on the all-weather since then as well. 11-1 looks too big for me. Give me a bit of Zaffarana. The only downside I'll probably say is that Stella Barkley now trains the horse, and it finished stone last of 11 last time. But I'm hoping, despite the change in trainer, yeah, returned. It's only a 6-year-old as well, so, you know, it's not as if it's long in the tooth. Actually, I've just noticed the best price is 16-1, not 11s. I'll definitely take a bit of that Zaffarana in the 5.55 at Chelmsford. That your lot, buddy?
That's it for me.
That's it for me before we end up parting you with more money, folks. Obviously, I've been Rory, he's been Chris. We are picked from thepaddock.co.uk. Any likes, tweets, comments, pop what you like the look of for Saturday's racing in the tips, sort of in the comments below. As always, good luck if you follow, and thanks for watching.